All right, welcome to today's episode of Your Daily Scrum. I'm professional Scrum trainer Ryan Ripley. That's professional Scrum trainer Todd Miller. He's somewhere over there. That's the right perspective.
The beard's growing back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's only because I run outside so much that my face gets like crazy. I'm shaving it as soon as this temperature goes up. I can't wait.
So it seems like you have a temporary clearance on the beard right now.
Yeah,
temporary clearance. Sometimes sometimes we get a little crazy and grow out the beards a bit, but we only get a temporary. And at any moment that can get revoked, and suddenly a razor is put in our hands, and it's time to shave, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Soon.
So Todd, we've been bombed with questions, which is awesome. We got a lot of listeners and a lot of viewers, because this actually goes out on a podcast feed as well. And so a lot of podcast listeners have been showing up on the socials and leaving us some questions, which is awesome. And one that we get a lot in classes, and one that came up in the YouTube channel recently, I thought could be fun to knock out real quick. And that is, where does the product owner come from, business or IT? It's like it's a throwdown. My kids have been watching WWE, the old wrestling show or whatever.
I love that.
And so there's all these, and it's like it's a SmackDown, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these new characters are. Like back when I watched it, we had like Junkyard Dog and Roddy Piper and Jake the Snake,
Earthquake,
and Monsoon. Yeah,
Earthquake like almost killed Hulk Hogan.
I remember the epic battles. And when I think of this question, I think of the epic battles between business and IT, and where does the product owner come from, and where do they report to? And it almost feels like a scripted wrestling match, because it's kind of silly.
Yeah, on that topic, before we kind of get into this question, when are we going to stop this nonsense?
Yeah.
Right. And you know what I've noticed is that it's actually structure that's created in organizations. A lot of organizations have their IT separated, and they act as a consulting agency to their business. I don't know how I feel about that model in general. Actually, I kind of do. It doesn't feel right. Like, aren't we all trying to achieve the same thing? Like, I don't know. Without tangenting an organizational structure, something feels off there.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a future video, but I totally agree. This idea of IT reporting in through, back in the 90s, it reported in through marketing. If that's still the case in your org, maybe you want to update the chart a little bit.
I had accounting. I reported to accounting my first job. That was a thing too.
Yep. But let's talk about this. Where does the PO come from, business or IT? And it's kind of an equally interesting question, because why do we still have on a Scrum team business versus IT? Mm-hmm. Like, why is that even a thing? If we're organized in such a way that we're optimized for delivery, and we're trying to make sure that we have a cross-functional, self-managing team, there should be people from our business partners, people with technical skills. There could be people from legal, finance, HR, subject matter experts, engineers, testers, all sorts of stuff going on here. If it's a non-software product, you could have mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, packaging engineers. I mean, all from all different areas and aspects and parts of your organization. And so, where does the product owner come from? Who's the subject matter expert who's fully empowered to make decisions about your product? Whoever that person is, look on the org chart where they come from, and that's where they come from, right?
Yeah. So I also think that there's a couple things that come to my mind here, is that not necessarily anything other than who has time to do this, right? Because when I see them come from the business, it's like, Shelly is going to spend 5% of her time being the product owner. First of all, it's mandating for Shelly, right? Like, just add one more thing that she has 5% of her time doing to do. And not only that, but then she can't do it well, because product owner is 100% full-time thing, right? So I think that, that's a question that we could ask, is that who can dedicate their job to this?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great question for Scrum Masters to ask. And when you see those kind of debates pop up, it's usually indicative that there's something going on here, like whether it's control or power or trust. There's something lacking when the business insists that the PO comes from them, or IT insists that the PO comes from them, or if there's this current concern about who's reporting to who. And like I said, we've gotten away from product delivery. We've gotten away from serving a customer or meeting a need. Now we're talking about things that have nothing to do with getting things out the door, right? And that's my big concern. It's like, why have these debates? To Todd's point, who has the time to fully dedicate themselves to working with customers, doing stakeholder management, doing personas, and getting out in the field and doing all of the great product management stuff that needs to happen so that this person can show up and be a great product owner to a team? And that's where I want that person to come from. And whether it's business or IT, it's totally irrelevant. We need the person committed and dedicated and capable to bring forward great knowledge to the Scrum team so that we have a chance of delivering a product that people want and need.
Yeah, I think there's another component to this too, that who has the skills or the acumen to acquire the skills to be a product owner? Because I've worked around a couple people, like you were mentioning, that were subject matter experts. And they became the product owner, and they were bad product owners.
Yeah.
Right. Because they have such tunnel vision about what used to be, or their corner of the subject, that they let out other people's opinions, and they couldn't be objective, and they didn't have the product management skills or the acumen or time to acquire them. So who has or is willing to develop the skills to become a product owner? Because it's a unique skill set. Right.
Definitely. So yeah, whether they come from business or IT, I think it's pretty clear. We're not really worried about that aspect. We're really more concerned about, can the person that's been appointed the product owner actually fulfill the role in a professional way?
Yeah.
Right. That's the punchline here. And if they can't, then get them help. And if the help doesn't work, you need a different product owner. Right. So Scrum Masters, keep your eyes out for this. This is one of those hills we're not going to die on. This is one of those arguments we're not going to get too invested in. Rather, we're going to look at the skills. We're going to look at the person who's in that role, whether or not they can actually be successful there, and then try to help them along the way. Sound good?
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for your questions. This was another question that came in from a listener. If you noticed a trend here, probably the last 10, 15 videos have been all about you and your questions. Keep them coming. Leave them down in the comments section. We'd love to hear what's going on with you. Check out the socials. They're all at Agile for Humans right across the top here. And smash that subscribe and like button. Right, Todd?
Right. Yeah, it's right below our faces there. But you have to actually hit it on YouTube, not the big red one on the sticky note thingy.
That was helpful. Thanks, Todd.
That was completely unhelpful.
But go ahead and smash that subscribe and like button. Check out the videos that we're adding here below. And for Todd Miller, I'm Ryan Ripley, and we will see you tomorrow.